Good morning, traders. Friday, the 8th of April, 2016. A quick overview of our favorite currency pairs and perhaps gold as well. If we can squeeze that in, I'm sure we can. I have open in front of me the GBP USD. I'm looking at the 1 hour chart, and there seems to be a possible trade developing. Let me pull in a few trend lines. First of all, the outer trend line running over there, our inner trend line running over there. Come on, system, there we go. And a final trend line down here. Now what we see happening here, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. What we see happening here is that the pound has veered towards the trend line again. It has touched the trend line. It hasn't even pierced it, so please don't start treating it as a possible trend line break yet. It appears to be moving back from that trend line, continuing its downward move. One way of determining whether it is tradable or not is to look for an entry point on the 5-minute chart, which we see there's still a bit of uncertainty there. It might decide to attack the trend line again. There isn't a newer high formed there yet, but it's something that you can watch out for during the course of the morning to see if we do get a trend line break or not. If we do get a trend line break, remember that the market's going to go towards the next trend line. If it breaks through that one, then obviously it's going to go to the next trend line. So maybe just watch out for a possible trade over there. The Euro USD still appointing me big time. Still hasn't really broken out of its channel that it's been in for this entire week. So I wouldn't consider any trade on that currency pair. Looking at the Japanese yen, still continuing its upward move, which it started. Let's just see where it could possibly go. Let's go back to the hour chart. Pull in a long-term trend line over here. Come on, there we go. And another one. Let's get that right. Oh, what's happening this morning? There we go. And a final one, it seems, down that way. There we are. In actual fact, let's go to the 5-minute chart. What we see happening here, very similar actually to the pound, going towards the inner trend line. It would be worth watching what happens over there. If we have a trend line break, obviously we're going to go north. And if we have a bounce on a trend line, we're going to go south. Now, please remember the rules pertaining to trend line breaks. At least 2 candles on the other end of the trend line that are not touching the trend line. Only then can it be considered a trend line break and traded accordingly. Now, for gold. Yesterday, we had a nice little run on gold. And here's what's happened in the meantime. Let me just change that back to a Japanese candlestick, and we leave our long-term trend line where we've had it before, just for illustration purposes. What we can see here is that yesterday the market took out that level, as we saw, and as I predicted, it has gone for the next level over there. It has exceeded that level, then decided to turn around. Now what we have here is we have a trend line break, and it seems as if the market's coming back to test the trend line. So for the moment, I'll allow it to do what it needs to do, and I'll come back to it, because it could either now come back to test the trend line before it extends, or it could turn around before the trend line, or it could go through the trend line. And as my trading is based mostly on trend lines and levels, I'm not happy that there's a trade in this one just yet. Traders, I'll be back this afternoon at around 3 o'clock GMT with another update. And in the meantime, happy and safe trading.